Welcome back to Clarity Check. Over the last couple of videos, we've been doing some real work together. We talked about that voice that tells you you're not enough and how to stop letting it make decisions for you. We talked about building habits that actually last, not because you forced them, but because they started to feel like you. Today, we're going one step further because none of that inner work holds up if the world around you keeps pulling you in directions you don't want to go. Today, we're talking about boundaries. And I want to be upfront with you. This is one of those topics that sounds simple until you actually try to do it. Because setting a boundary isn't just a conversation, it's an act of self-respect. And for a lot of us, that's something we were never really taught to practice. So let's talk about what boundaries really are, why they're so hard, and what it looks like to actually start building them. Let's start with what a boundary is, because I think a lot of us have a slightly off version of it in our heads. A boundary isn't a wall. It's not about shutting people out or becoming cold or difficult. It's not a punishment, and it's not something you set to control other people. A boundary is simply a line that defines what you're okay with and what you're not. It's you knowing yourself well enough to say, this works for me and this doesn't. That's it. The confusion happens because most of us grew up in environments where our needs came second, where saying no felt dangerous, where keeping the peace meant ignoring what we actually felt. And so we learned very early that having needs was inconvenient, that expressing them made us difficult. And those lessons don't just disappear. They become the voice in our head that says, it's not a big deal, just let it go. Or, I don't want to make things awkward. Or, maybe I'm being too sensitive. But here's what I want you to consider. Every time you override what you actually need to keep someone else comfortable, you're sending yourself a message. You're saying, your needs don't matter. And you hear that message louder than anyone else does. So if boundaries are just about knowing what you need, why is it so hard? A few reasons. The first is guilt. We've been conditioned to believe that putting ourselves first is selfish, that saying no is a rejection, that having limits makes us less loving, less generous, less good. So when we try to set a boundary, guilt shows up immediately. And for a lot of us, that guilt is so uncomfortable that we take the boundary back before anyone even reacts. The second reason is fear of conflict. If you grew up in an environment where conflict meant something bad was about to happen, your nervous system learned to avoid it at all costs. Setting a boundary can feel physically like standing on the edge of something. Your heart rate goes up, your stomach tightens, you want to soften it, walk it back, apologize for it. And the third reason is that we don't always know what our boundaries are until they've already been crossed. We feel it, the resentment, the exhaustion, the low-level irritation that something isn't right. But we haven't been taught to read those signals as information. We just push them down and keep going. The truth is, your discomfort is data. It's your inner self trying to tell you something. The question is whether you're willing to listen. So what does it look like to actually start setting boundaries, especially if you never really have? 3 things. 1. Start with yourself, not with other people. Before you can communicate a boundary to anyone else, you have to get clear on what it actually is. That means getting quiet enough to ask, where am I consistently feeling drained? What situations leave me feeling resentful or exhausted? What have I been tolerating that I wish I wasn't? The answers to those questions are where your boundaries live. You can't communicate what you haven't first understood. 2. Keep it simple and direct. We have a tendency to over-explain our boundaries, to justify them, apologize for them, soften them with so many qualifications that they lose their shape entirely. But a boundary doesn't need a paragraph, it just needs clarity. I'm not available after 7 p.m. I need some time to think before I respond to that. That doesn't work for me. The simpler it is, the more it holds. 3. Expect discomfort and do it anyway. The first few times you set a boundary, especially with people who aren't used to you having them, it's going to feel uncomfortable. They might push back. They might be surprised. They might even be hurt. That discomfort doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means something is shifting. And the more you hold to it, calmly, quietly, without anger, the more it becomes a normal part of how you move through the world. Here's what I've noticed, both personally and in the conversations I've had, about what happens when people start actually setting and holding boundaries. The first thing that changes is your energy. When you stop spending yourself on things that don't align with what you need, you have more to give. to the people and things that actually matter to you. The second thing that changes is your relationships. This one surprises people. They expect that setting boundaries will push people away, and sometimes it does, and that's worth sitting with. But the relationships that survive it, they become more honest, more mutual, more real, because they're no longer built on you making yourself smaller. And the third thing, maybe the most important, is how you feel about yourself. Every time you honor a boundary you've set, you build a little more trust with yourself. The same trust we talked about when we discussed habits. The quiet internal knowing that you do what you say you're going to do, that you take care of yourself. And remember, that is not selfishness. That's the foundation everything else is built on. That's your clarity check for today. If boundaries are something you've been struggling with, whether it's setting them, holding them, or even figuring out what they are, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Where does it feel hardest? What's one boundary you've been putting off? This community is a thoughtful one, and sometimes the most helpful thing is just knowing you're not alone in it. And if this topic is hitting close to home, especially when it comes to your relationships, I want to tell you about something I wrote. It's called Words versus Actions, and it's all about recognizing red flags in relationships. The ones that are easy to miss, the ones we explain away, and what it actually looks like when someone's words and their actions don't line up. It's available right now on Amazon. I'll have the link in the description below. If you've ever found yourself making excuses for someone's behavior or questioning what you deserve, this book was written for you. Take care of yourself this week. I'll see you in the next one. That's your clarity check for today. If boundaries are something you've been struggling with, whether it's setting them, holding them, or even figuring out what they are, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Where does it feel hardest? What's one boundary you've been putting off? This community is a thoughtful one, and sometimes the most helpful thing is just knowing you're not alone in it. And if this topic is hitting close to home, especially when it comes to your relationships, I want to tell you about something I wrote. It's called Words versus Actions, and it's all about recognizing red flags in relationships. The ones that are easy to miss, the ones we explain away, and what it actually looks like when someone's words and their actions don't line up. It's available right now on Amazon. I'll have the link in the description below. If you've ever found yourself making excuses for someone's behavior or questioning what you deserve, this book was written for you. Take care of yourself this week. I'll see you in the next one.